They came with fire in their hearts and steel in their souls. The Wallaroos, battered by history and haunted by a record that weighed heavy on their shoulders, marched into Wellington not as underdogs, but as believers. Believers in each other. Believers in the dream. Believers that this time, perhaps, history could bend. But across from them stood the Black Ferns. Giants of the women's game. Undefeated in 29 meetings against Australia. Champions in black. Legends who needed no introduction, and on this day, they had a point to prove, not only to the world, but to themselves. Because this was their final home appearance before they boarded a plane for England. Before they took one last shot at World Cup glory. And with the wind swirling around Sky Stadium and the haka still echoing in the bones of those watching, the match began like a bolt from the rugby gods. 50 seconds. That's all Portia Woodman-Wickliffe needed. On her 34th birthday, she etched another chapter into her storied legacy. One break, one burst, one try, the kind of ruthless, blink-and-you-miss-it power that New Zealand has made its trademark. But then came the answer. Charlotte Caslick, the Wallaroos' own spark of magic, touched the ball for the first time and turned it into gold. One touch, one drive, one dream reborn. The score was level, and for the first 30 minutes, this wasn't a clash of titans and shadows. It was blow for blow, toe to toe, a war not of records, but of wills. And then, tragedy struck. Siokapesi Palu, captain, heartbeat, warrior. She was there, in the thick of it, holding the line, standing her ground. But beneath a pile of bodies, her foot was trapped, twisted cruelly by the weight of the battle. She was carried off. The moon boot would come later. The pain on her face, immediate. Caslick, too, would limp through the final whistle, her leg caught awkwardly in a desperate tackle. These weren't just injuries. They were sacrifices. They were the scars of a team that gave everything and more. Yet still, the Wallaroos kept coming. Waiaria Ellis, all of 17 years old, looked like she had been born in this arena. She darted, she danced, she dared. Desiree Miller, her fellow winger, matched her stride for stride, asking questions of a Black Ferns defence that had not been asked in years. Tia Hines, playing at number 10, was calm in the storm. Her kicks sliced through the Wellington wind like arrows through mist, keeping her team in the hunt and the crowd on edge. At halftime, the score was 10-7. The Black Ferns ahead, but only just. The record book said domination. The scoreboard said fight. Then came the shift. Georgia Miller, a former Sevens superstar with lightning in her boots, took the ball and bent reality. A solo try that silenced even the most partisan Kiwi fans. A moment of brilliance that shattered the tension and swung momentum back into black hands. From there, the Ferns found their rhythm. One try became two. Two became three. Portia Woodman-Wickliffe wasn't done. She was rewriting her own legacy. Another burst, another finish, and then, just for good measure, another. A hat-trick, on her birthday, in her house. Still, the Wallaroos did not fold. They did not surrender. For 30 minutes in the first half, they had kept New Zealand to just 5 seconds in their attacking 22. 5 seconds. Against one of the greatest teams the sport has known. That was no accident. That was intent. And in the final minutes, they found a sliver of joy. Lydia Kavoa crossed the line and planted the ball with authority. A try that may not have changed the outcome, but changed the narrative. Australia didn't just show up. They left a mark. Siokapesi Palu, watching from the sideline with a boot on her foot and pride in her chest, summed it up best. It's just building pressure, and that self-belief is what we needed, she said, her voice trembling not with pain, but with conviction. Definitely a lot of positives in that first half to show that we can stay in it. It's just now trying to hold that out for 80 minutes. That belief wasn't just in words, it was in the way they played. They dared. They hit hard. They ran fast. They defended with grit. They showed the world, and themselves, that this isn't a Wallaroos team stuck in the past. This is a team inching toward a new future. Alana Bremner, the Black Ferns captain, didn't hide her respect. We were not clinical enough in the first half. Credit to Australia, they really tested us. And that, perhaps, is the most powerful sentence of all. Because for years, this rivalry was lopsided. One team dominated. One team chased. But on this day, in this game, with their captain injured and history against them, the Wallaroos forced the Black Ferns to dig deep. To adapt. To fight. And even though the final score said 37-12, the message was louder than any number. Australia is coming. The World Cup is around the corner. And while the Black Ferns will travel with confidence, knowing they've left home soil with a win and a memory, the Wallaroos will leave with hunger. With lessons. With scars that turn into strength. They'll face Wales next, first in Brisbane, then in Sydney. 2 more tests. 2 more chances to rise. And rise they will, because something stirred in Wellington. Amid the tries, amid the tackles, amid the tears, something changed. A belief was born, not in beating history, but in becoming it.